What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Get Over Yourself podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you destroy your self-limitations and help you achieve your goals. If you don't know by now, I'm your podcast host, Brandon Davis. And in today's episode, we're going to be discussing one simple strategy on how you can start your day off right. Guys, if you haven't listened to last week's episode where we discussed visioning past your goals, make sure to check that episode out first because we're going to be tying some of those concepts back into today's show. Likewise, it goes over a little bit of what my life's been like over the past couple months, why my podcast took a break for a month and a half, and how we're getting back into our regularly scheduled program. Guys, I'm super excited to share this episode with you. It's going to be a little bit of a quicker episode, but it's something that can truly impact how you start your days off. So with that all being said, let's jump into today's episode. So here's the scenario, guys. If you want to start your day off correctly, this is the exact program that you need to be doing. You need to set your alarm for 4:50 if you're somebody who generally hits snooze. Your second alarm is going to be at 5 o'clock, so you have that 10-minute buffer to fully wake up. As soon as 5 a.m. rolls around, you're going to get out of bed, start doing your jumping jacks, and this part's crucial. You're going to run straight over to your kitchen and fill up your gallon water jug, and you're going to drink an entire gallon as soon as you wake up. Straight from you drinking that entire gallon, you're going to go run to the gym. You're not going to drive because that's going to make you groggy again. You're going to run straight to the gym. You're going to hit that 45-minute workout. Then you're going to run home, and then you're going to take a cold shower. You're going to eat breakfast, and you're going to journal for 30 minutes. Then you can start your day. It's as simple as that. That's how you can ensure you're going to have a great and successful start to your day. Now, guys, obviously I'm playing. If that is your life, I applaud you. I wish I can do something that consistent every single day. We're all working towards that. But I want to focus on the reality of the situation a little bit. And I've been thinking about this as my life's been turned around this summer, as I've gotten married, as new challenges have been thrown at me. And heck, even looking past my own life and looking at my sisters who are just both having kids and their lives are so crazy and whatnot, it took me a step back because a lot of times we do focus on these extremes inside of our lives. And once again, if your morning routine looks anything like that, that's a great morning routine. But it's not always feasible for us as humans to consistently keep to a pattern so strong as the one I just described as that kind of joke I was telling you. And I feel like sometimes inside of our lives, we get down on ourselves, especially in the area of self-development when we're trying to improve ourselves little by little every single day. Sometimes we expect these grand gestures. We want to prove to ourselves that we can do hard things. But then sometimes we kind of bite off more than we can chew. So we set these goals and then we can't necessarily get past them. And so for the purpose of today's episode, once again, if you kind of got your morning routine down, that's amazing. But this one simple strategy I want you to apply on how you can start your day off correctly. If you're the busiest person in the entire world or you're just your average Joe just looking to do a little bit more in your days, the same strategy can apply to every single one of you. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, Brandon, what the heck is the strategy here? Just going on and on. You're making all these jokes. But it really is a simple thought, and it's this. If you want to start your day off correctly, you need to end the previous day correctly. And what do I mean by that? I want to reference something written by Linda Andrews in the Psychology Today article, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description of today's episode, so if anyone wants to read past it. But Linda Andrews, she's a psychologist, and she performed this study where she took individuals, these subjects, who generally had bad sleeping behaviors, people who didn't sleep very well in the night, took a long time to fall asleep, and then woke up very groggy and not enthusiastic about the start of their day whatsoever. And inside of this study, she took these subjects who were having these difficulties sleeping and waking up on time and whatnot, and she gave them a challenge. And then she recorded the data over this challenge on what kind of impact it had inside of their lives. And inside her research during this study she performed on the subjects, she found that after 3 weeks of these subjects simply writing in a notebook every single night just a few things they are grateful for inside of that day, not only were their sleeping patterns increasing positivity, but they also were reported to wake up more enthusiastic to start their days. And they continued this study a few months after they had first performed it. And those subjects who kept up with their gratitude journals or just these feelings of gratitude before they went to bed, they reported back that they still were having positive impacts inside of their sleeping schedules. Not only were they going to bed easier, not only were they sleeping better, but more importantly, what I want to focus on today's episode is they were waking up ready to start their day. They weren't groggy anymore. They weren't pessimistic on waking up. They were excited to get to work, to school, everything they had going on inside of their lives. Now, this study by Linda Andrews kind of confirms something that my longtime listeners know I preach about 24/7, but it's the fact that gratitude can actually perform wonders and miracles inside of your life. The simple act of being grateful can help you not only sleep better, as the study showed, but it prepares you for the start of a new day. Now, once again, for all my longtime listeners out there, you know I'm a big advocate for this, but I want to say it again for anyone who hasn't started or you may be brand new listening to the Get Over Yourself podcast. Something that I've done inside of my life that I've seen literal miracles performed because of it is I write inside my gratitude notebook every single night before I go to bed. And it's not always these grand gestures that I write about inside of my day. It's not like I'm winning the lottery every single day when it comes to things to be grateful for. But I am trying to focus on just little bits and pieces of my day that made it a little bit better. It could be something as simple as listening to a fun song on the radio, somebody who complimented me, my wife making me dinner, or watching my favorite show, something so simple. But these simple things have a great impact on how our overall happiness states perform inside of our days. So once again, going back to this study by Linda Andrews, her subjects, after they started writing in these gratitude notebooks, when they started expressing more forms of gratitude before they went to bed, they then slept better, but then more importantly, they woke up more excited for the next day. They woke up ready to do something. And that's easy to say that they were able to do this once or twice. Maybe it was the anomaly, right? But the studies show that they consistently were waking up ready to start their day. They no longer were feeling these doubts inside of their head. They were no longer worried about what the day had to come. They were ditching this anxiety and they were getting ready and excited to start their day. No longer were they holding back. So that's the challenge I want to leave with you guys on today's episode of the Get Over Yourself podcast. If you haven't started now, I want you all to start writing in a gratitude notebook. That could be on your phone, that could be a physical notebook like mine, or if you want to simply text somebody inside of your family or a friend something you're grateful every day. I promise if you do this right before you fall asleep, as the study proves, not only will you get better sleep, but you're also going to wake up the next day ready and eager to start it. One final thing I want to mention is we don't have to be naive and try and convince ourselves that every single part of our day, every moment we pass through was absolutely magical and is the greatest day of your life. Odds are you're not going to have the greatest day of your life every single day when you wake up. And so don't joke yourself out of that. If you had a rough day, be honest with yourself. But I promise you there's still bits and pieces of your day where you were able to learn. And if you're learning, there's always something to be grateful for. One other strategy I'll share before I close out today's episode is something that my wife introduced me to. It's become a fun habit of ours every single night before we fall asleep. And it's this simple little game where we discuss our highs and lows for that day. We generally start off where we talk about our lows, something that kind of brought us down a little bit, something we struggled with, something in our day that didn't necessarily make us the happiest. But after we finish our lows and we discuss kind of the harder parts of our day, we always finish with our highs, something that made us super happy or we got excited by or just made us feel good overall. We were feeling that gratitude. We discuss our highs. So if you're not quite ready to fully embrace this gratitude notebook that I've been trying to get all my listeners on for the past year and a half now, try this with somebody you know. Try it with a friend, a family member, whoever it may be that you can trust inside of your life with something a little bit more private. Try telling them your highs and lows. Tell them what went wrong in a day and tell them what went good. I promise you, once again, just like the study shows, you will go to bed happier, but more importantly, I guess not more importantly, but just as important, you're going to start your next day off the best way possible. Guys, that's what I have for you in today's episode of the Get Over Yourself podcast. I want to thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share it with a friend who you think could benefit from listening. And if you really enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a positive review. That's how I continue to grow this show. So guys, with all that being said, just remember, it'll all be okay. Just take a step back and start your day off correctly with this one simple strategy of ending the previous day with gratitude.